morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. You're on 24 Hours of UX, hour 23. So we are in the middle, the bottom half of hour 23. My name is Jesse, and I'm joined by my partner at 24 Hours UX, Nigiri, who is in Nairobi, Kenya. I'm in Geneva, Switzerland, and we have the pleasure of welcoming to 24 Hours of UX Dr. Aslina Baharum, and who's joining us from Malaysia on the island of Borneo, Sabah. And it's really cool. What a world. This is such a pleasure to meet folks from everywhere on the planet who share a common interest in something we call user experience. And so, as we know, it's a passion. And Aslina is going to be taking some time this morning to share her passion and some particularities around UX in industry. And so that's going to be very interesting to cover today. This is the bottom of this hour. At the top of the next hour is a keynote, but if you have to stick around because the topic is just so cool and you want to ask Aslina plenty of questions, don't worry, you can. You can stay here and chat in the Q&A for as long as you need to. This session is being recorded, so and so have the others. So if you missed some of the others, be sure and check those out on the YouTube videos that we'll post of the recordings within the next few days to weeks on the 24hoursofux.com website. So look, I'm going to hand over the controls to Dr. Aslina. Welcome, and we're off at hour 23 and a half. Thanks.
Assalamualaikum, good morning, good afternoon, good evening again, everyone. Okay, my name is Aslina Baharum. I'm from Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, Malaysia. Okay, maybe just finished talks with my HUX. It's from the UUM. So I'm here from University Malaysia Sabah. So let me share you my slide first, okay, so that I can start my talks. Okay. Right. I hope you can see my screen now. So I will bigger my screen so that you can have a view, good view. But I will not see the conversations and the Q&A. So I will look at it later after I finish my talk. Right. So for today, okay. So we will continue our 24 hours UX. So this is my topics: UX, user experience, and future interfaces. Okay. So we are from University Malaysia Sabah and the community of User Experience Research Lab. Okay. So for my topics here is for sharing you guys the user experience in future interfaces. So in University Malaysia Sabah, we just start our user experience UXRL research lab. It's just last year, so we are just a baby actually. So for today, we are sharing the topics. For start, we look into the Industry 4.0. Okay, as we know that nowadays we talk about Industry 4.0. Okay. So Industry 4.0, the keywords is connectivity and smart, right? So here, Industry 4.0 is about the digitalizations of traditional industries. The digital innovation of the 4IR not only affect the way factory produce, but also invest in the design and engineering technique of the industrial products. Okay? So the 4.0 technologies allow a significant improvement in product designs, okay? Thanks to the integration of software components such as sensors, GPS, that connected the machinery or other physical objects, machines, make it possible to collect data from the field. So making product intelligence through the Internet, IoT, Internet of Things, has many advantages at every stage of the product's life cycle, including design. So here is come the UX. Access to the data information during the use of the industrial product enables designers to constantly monitor its performance and the way it was used. Thanks to the real-time monitoring, for example, it is possible to effectively redesign the infrastructure of the digitized products in order to achieve the high level of energy saving, avoid downtimes, and consequently optimize the production flow. So as we know, our fourth industry revolutions, we start with the first phase of steam engineering, second wave of assembly line, and then we have a robot computing internet focusing on internet and nuclear energy, and now we are in fourth industry. Okay? The first wave focusing on the steam power mechanizations, waving looms, etc. in a late of 1700, and second wave late 1800 for focusing on the electricity, electrical energy, mass production and assembly line, and third wave industrial revolution starting late 1969, the electronics, automations, robotics, computers. Okay, and we are now still in revolutions 4.0. So it's changed the way we work, the way we sell things, the way we travel, and the way we live. So for instance, now we are in a COVID-19. So everything changed. So thanks to the technologies now, so that our all the way that we live, we learn, we travel, we live, all the behavior changes because of this. So the paradigm shifts in Industry 4.0, such as the interoperability, the ability to communicate with all elements of factories, where the robot talks to another robots, or the machine talks to another machines, the information system, the system analyze the machines, the smart products, people, as well as the third-party systems. Decentralizations, the capacity for the design of autonomous sub-process within the factory with the cyber physical elements with the capacity to make decisions autonomously. Real-time analytics, the ability to collect and analyze large amount of data. This comes where we talk about big data. Allow us to monitoring, control, and optimize the process and facilitate the results. So virtualizations, the ability to generate a virtual copy so that we can have a virtual travel, virtual plans. Okay. Next, we have a service orientations, the ability to transfer the new value generated. So this is the new disruptive business model, the way we do shopping. Okay. Nowadays we can do online. Okay. We can do shopping not only in our area, Malaysia maybe. We can go further to US. Your country, India, China. Okay. Number 6, modularity and scalability, the flexibility and elasticity to adapt the needs of the industry business. Okay. So this is the 10 skills to thrive in the fourth industry revolutions. As we know, all this complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, people management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision making, service orientation, negotiation skills, cognitive flexibility, all these are included humans, involved in humans. So we can say that the transmissions from the traditional into the industry 4.0, I think in Sabah we also starting for the industry 4.0, we had learned that some of the country already going further to 5.0. Okay, so actually it's a traditional to the technologies, so the smart, connectivity and smart. So for the mass productions to customization according to the customer requirement, large factory to manufacture big volume to a smart factories where we can utilize the use of machine robotics. Okay? Orderly planning based on the anticipation of a stock to the dynamic productions according to demand, so that we can avoid any waste. Product purchase, use of the product as a service in the industry 4.0. In traditional, we do a minimize cost, but in industry we maximize in return, ROCE. Get more profit, return, investment, ROI, capital use. work rigidly to the more flexible in the work organization, where we use more on robotic machines, where we can smart and integrate all of the machines together. So now I think everyone here already know what is UX, what is user experience, right? Okay. So UX, how user interact with and the experience by using a product, a system, or service. Okay. And also we have a UX design, the process of design, okay, the use of the product to bring a meaningful and reliable experience to user. So the term is come from the Interaction Design Foundation website. So we want to create the user experience that they include all the useful, usable, findable, credible, desirable, accessible, and valuable. Okay. So I think everyone familiar with the website of interactiondesign.org. So the why, what, and how of UX design, why we motivate, why we need to develop, design a system, the, 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 the user interface system, the motivate how you develop it. What is the function and features that needed by your user, the requirement for the customer. Okay? How we want to create the system is more accessible, aesthetic, usable, and to increase the usability of the system. Okay? Why are we designing the user interface? To help the community, to help the users, to improve, to increase the productivity for the business, to make users more loyal to us, to increase the business and the return of investment. And then we start to figure out what are the features or what of the function that our user need. Okay? Function that could help user achieve their intentions. Okay? And finally, how we will create the simple, the more accessible, more user friendly, increase the usability. Simple to the interface should be look like. So I link with the user experience with the Industry 4.0 that I call it a UX 4.0. So humans are still needed to interact with the production system, with the machine equipment that automated. So interface is a critical to meet the expectations because we want to interact between the human and the machines, so how they are interact with. So interface is the borderline from the human and machine. So consistent in user experience. So when I ask you, when you wake up in the early morning, what we will do? Okay, look at this screen. So what we connect with? Is it we connect with human first? Most of us will take into our phone first. So we connect with the machine first, either man or woman. So we will look, we want to go sleep, we go. We will get our mobile phone. We look at our mobile phone, check message, then see the news updates. Okay? When we want to wake up or sleep, every time we look at our mobile phone first, right? I think most of us will do the same things, right? So we interact with the machine first, the system first, not the human. Okay? Do we connect with the human first? But of course, for those very enthusiastic with the works, the person or the things that you interact, the first thing when you wake up is your mobile phone. So not only on the mobile phone, we interact many machines. Maybe we have anything that have a machine, robots like washing machines, televisions, our aircon. So we always interact with the machines. So this come the interactions between the machine and human. So how we communicate and interact with via the user interface. Okay, this one. The interface, okay, connected between the human and machines. So this is come the UX importance. So UX importance was to fulfill user needs. Okay, needs okay, to provide a positive experience. Okay, we want to bring a positive experience from our user customer. Okay, keep user loyal. This is for business to increase the return of investment, your business, to increase the loyalty of your product or brands. So let me share you the user experience in past 2 years, 2020 to 2021 now. So first we have a personalized experience. I think this is the connections of machine learning with machine learning algorithm, artificial intelligence. I think everyone mostly use Netflix. Yeah? Of course, when we search, use Yahoo, Google, or any e-commerce website, so the priority is based on our previous history. And suddenly, what we previously searched come in as a personalized. So Netflix also have these AI functions where they will have a history that what you have been watched. Then from there, the artificial intelligence, the algorithm can give you a suggestion what the movie based on the previous history that you have been watched. Second, we have pick of voice user interface. Okay, voice interaction, voice assistant, like what we have in Google. Our phone also have the assistant that I think for those driving, you can ask. You cannot type your message. You can use the voice assistant. So of course we couldn't text while driving, right? So it's very dangerous. So this is the use of voice interactions. Okay, the Google Alexa. So every morning we wake up in the morning, we can say, "Hello Alexa, what is the weather for today?" So this is good for those very lonely, right? So you can have someone to talk with. Okay, of course it's not good for your social, but this is something that might be useful, okay, for others that maybe it's a single lah. Okay. All right. Second, we have rise of artificial augmented reality and virtual reality. Okay, games like previously we have Pokemon. Okay? We very into this place play Pokemon. We go everywhere to just collect the Pokemon, right? And then we have e-commerce, okay, whereby we only buy through online, okay, using virtual reality and augmented reality that we can see. Like the example picture here, we want to buy a shoes. Okay? We just scroll up our shoes and different types of shoes that we selected, so we can see real how we wear those brands. Okay? Is it which one is the most suitable you want? Okay, the need. So the below part you can see the educations, okay, where we can use in the medic educations. Maybe this one to learn. This is more enjoy, more interact with the environment. So this is very interesting to exploit on the UX. Next, we have a 3D presentation of interface, animated 3D graphic. I think most of the new generation right now like to have a visual impact. So that's why the 3D graphic is very helpful and very interact with the use of users' need. Okay, we want to see weather. Okay, rather than we see static pictures, we have a 3D graphic that we can see the weather, the forecast weather, will be rain for this evening or not, something like that. So people like to see the 3D graphic in the visual rather than you see a static image pictures. Next, we have the obsession with dark themes. Okay, this black and dark gray interface. So this is good accessibility, easiest on users with eyes long term, and for users with vision impairment, okay, or partial blind, okay, to read and use. So this is very important also to explore on the obsess of dark themes. So next, we have a minimalized user interface, okay, where clean and simple interface that does its job. Okay, so simple, make more easier for you to understand. That's why visuals, minimalize user interface is very important. Um, like what Steve Jobs said, that the broader one's understanding of the human experience, the better design we will have. Okay? The way that we research more on user UX, okay? So we bring good design, good user needs from our customer or users. So I think this is the future interfacing. So we will have a wearable user interface. We don't have a product, but we need to have a system that kind of this one wearable user interface. You don't have you don't have a real existing bigger products, but you can pop up the windows on your screen like this, right? And in the below part, you can just scroll your computer using one small items that connect with your. This one is similar remote, okay, mouse. So you can just remote your screen using the products. This is what the need of user, especially a housewife, you want to cook something that, but you have a full hands to doing a cook. So something like this product is very useful for them. So holographic user interface. I think everyone watched Avenger movie. So they are using holographic user interface. And on the right side, we can see the first holographic user interface. Okay, with a 3D images. Okay, autonomous user interface. Okay, the automatic, so like we feel it's in a real automatic system. Okay, without driving, it's automatically come. I think this one also I watched in one of the movie. It's similar like the movie, similar like movie of Contagious. I'm not sure, but this one is also the movie. You don't have to drive. Okay, the computer, the system smartly drive you. You just say that, okay, I want to go to some place. Okay, so the car automatically drive you there. This one is very good for educations, mostly gesture-based user interface. Okay. You can see on the right side, on the left side here, the doctor. The doctor is using gesture-based user interface, gesture-based, to do a medical purpose. Okay, on the right side, maybe you can maybe this one also for educations. You can teach how to use the machine. Okay, this one is based on gesture. I think we already have in televisions. Television also we already have a gesture base. Mobile phone also we have a gesture base. So let me share you the past 5 years project and study that I've been done and currently in past 5 years since 2016. First, we have a visualization pattern for shopping mobile web application user interface design based on eye tracking analysis. Okay, this study is to come up with the personalized interface. Okay, actually we want to come up with the gender-based personalized, but at the end, our projects come up with the one interface that can be familiar with both gender. Okay, so we use eye tracking analysis, okay, to track eye tracking on the gender base. Okay, and at the end we design the interface that can suitable for each gender, either male or female. Later on, we compile and we do an analysis again. We validate the interface. We come up with the one of interface that can be used by both gender. So this one is purposely for the mobile applications interface. Second, we have a mobile augmented reality framework for student-centered learning in higher education institution. This one we use augmented reality for teaching networking. Okay, networking. So here we propose a framework to develop mobile applications with the augmented reality. So as you can see in the right side here, so the self-efficacy is the most significant factors that needed for those students to learn this mobile application through augmented reality. Third, we have standard Kanzai-based user interface web design for higher learning institutions. Okay, we believe that people with less on your website in about 2 to 3 seconds, if they are not interested, they will go to the next website. So this will try to increase the interactions using a mobile app website. Okay? So when people look at your website, so you feel that it's been personalized by you. So of course we have a user with different culture might have a different expectations, but in here we try to find generalizations. Like this study is focusing on Malaysia only, but my previous study when I doing my PhD, actually I did a case study on the ASEAN countries. So we from the 10 ASEAN countries, so it come up with the one guideline of user interface for website, okay, purposely for information website, okay, so that when people around the world, especially for ASEAN countries, we have Malaysia, Indonesia, we have a similar culture, so we feel the website is not too 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 difficult for them to find all the necessity button. Where they want to find a search engine, where they want to find a home, they know where is it because it's already familiar with their culture. Another study, we have a conceptual framework for developing a children mobile application using emotional design. This study, we try to put all the positive emotions in the interface, mobile children mobile application interface. Okay, we try to avoid all the negative emotions, positive emotions like happiness, something um, that make children want to learn more. This is based on the science education, okay, the science syllabus. Okay, so this is to motivate children to
Just a
learn
moment,
more on
just a
the
moment, Dr.
syllabus.
Aslina. Yeah, just interrupting your talk to say we
Okay.
have like 3 more minutes. No stress, people can stay. Just letting guys know that in about 2 minutes we have keynote session from UL Sumitro, but you can choose to stay here to wait for Dr. Aslina to finish, and you can also post your questions on the Q&A. I'm handing it back to you, Dr. Aslina. Go ahead.
Thank you. So my slide is only about 2 to 3 slides more. Okay, improving linear algebra learning using storytelling gamification. This is study where we motivate higher learning students to learn mathematics through gamifications. And we also have a study on the autism using a chatbot. We have a smart agriculture. This is purposely to have a community in Pindasang where faced with the COVID-19 on the setting. We want to develop a system that connect farmers direct through the buyers or users. Then we also have a framework for designing community learning engagement. We know that most of the community language that have been forget for the next generation. That's why we try to help to create a mobile application that make students want to learn more about the language. Okay. Also, lastly, we have a visualization pattern to boost engagement, emotion engagement. This is to motivate a student to using a e-learning system. Okay. So to conclude, okay, user experience and interface will keep evolving and either improve our daily life or eventually take control of us. So this is our task. So we are the human who create them. So we should take control rather than they take control over us, right? So to share you, this is our team member, UXRL in UMS. So I'm the head of the group. Okay, we have 6 to 7 for the internal researcher, and looking for the collaboration for internationals and also industry. So with that, that's all my slide. Okay, if you have any further questions or interested to collaborate with us, please drop email me at aslina@ums.edu.my. That's all. Any questions? Let me stop the sharing first before. Okay.
Yes, we have a question.
Let me look into the Q&A if there is any question. How can public access the studies made by universities? Okay, that's why we collaborate with the communities. Okay? We do a study that can be used by the community when we do by our own. Okay? And we also share the finding in the paper, and also we have a public talks to the community to make awareness for them. So any collaboration and any helping to be collaborate between the communities and university might be useful. Okay, I hope I answered the questions by Intan. Thank you for the nice questions.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, I think that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just that one. I can't find any other in the chat. Mostly guys saying where they're from. We've been joined by people from everywhere, and that's really cool. Yeah, so is there anyone else with another question? If you have a question, you could post it on the Q&A session. However, at this moment, I would really like to thank Dr. Aslina Baharum. Thank you so much for making time. Your presentation was great. There was a lot of content with clarity in how we can collaborate in the future in UX in the industry.
Yeah.
So I also want to thank everyone who made it today from all over the world, and that was really cool. I think there's another question though. Yeah.
Please,
So Dr. Aslina, you could take the other questions. Yeah.
Yes, I share my email address in the chat box so that you can drop emails to me. Okay, any collaborations or any other question, you can ask later.
Yeah, so we have another question on the Q&A section, Dr. Aslina. Maybe you could have a look at it. Yeah.
One of the big challenge in day-to-day work when developing products often simply don't have enough time to explore and come up with the ideas. Quite the sale. Okay. Yes. Okay. That's why we have a lot of system, a lot of applications that have been developed but not been used. Why? Because the UX is not included. Okay, so yes, it's a big challenge to have a study, to make a study, to make a study before we develop. But at least the system, the application will be useful for others. Not we develop and suddenly it's not being used because the user experience is not fulfill our needs, not fulfill the requirement from the user or customer. So it's a work to take a time, but the system, the application might be useful up to that.
There is another question by Mazlan.
How do you conduct US research during pandemic at UMS? Okay, like I said, that UMS have the initiative for the researcher. They give grants for us to propose and collaborate with the communities. They do mesh collaborations between the communities and researchers. And because of the initiative of University Malaysia Sabah giving a grant to the researcher, we still do the research. Even though during pandemic, they have a SOP that we need to comply with. Also, of course, pandemic. This is a new situation that we need to face off. That we don't have to hold our research after the pandemic is over. We can do. We have many choice, many options. For example, to collect data, we can do online via Google Form. Or we have a tools that we can do online. Like example, the Optima. When previously we do face-to-face eye tracking, but by using the tools that are available online, thanks to the those develop the tools that can be help the researcher to continue further our study, doing research online. So I think if you want to know more about the tools that I use by doing our research, you can drop an email so we can share what tools that you might be use also, even though pandemic that we couldn't go for the future.
Okay. So on that, maybe I would ask if you have a link to the slides, maybe you could help us share on the chat, and then I will pin it for guys. But if you don't have a link, that's okay. We could just share with Peter and Jesse later, and then we could share with everyone. All right. So the last question is from Muhammad. How do your team decide the best design for both genders based on your eye tracking research, gender bias wireframe?
Oh, okay. Like I said, after we collect data based on the Kanzai word, we use the Kanzai word. Okay. After we evaluate, we collect the based on gender. Okay. We have another validations on Kanzai words. Okay, and then we look on the similarity. So based on the similarity, we try to figure out the most, if you use mean, the most nearest mean that we can put. For example, in the locations, the most convenient. Some of the questions might give you an options. So for you, are you familiar on the right, on the left side? Okay, some of them are put in the center. So we look into the similarity. The more data we collect, the more accurate and the best result that we can have for the development. That's why I said at the last of our validation, we come up with the one interface that we scatter all the gender.
Cool. Thank you so much. I think that was the last question. Again, guys are saying this was very insightful. You prepared very well. Now I know more about UX and like the future interfacing. So thank you so much. And it's really lovely to meet you. Cool. So for the rest of the session, guys, thank you again for coming to 24 Hours of UX. And there is a keynote ongoing by Yoel Simwitro about how can product growth and ethical design coexist in Southeast Asia. We can head over to that one and see you next time. So thank you guys. Bye.